Hey Australia, it's Lockie. Thanks for the positive feedback we've received from you guys, our community, on these latest episodes. If you missed last week's episode 6 on the $1 million car, I recommend checking that out. And while you're here, subscribe to Mind Over Money wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us a review if you can. You can also email us your questions for our upcoming Q&A episodes. We'd love to answer those. Our email is in the show notes. Okay, on with today's conversation. You're listening to Mind Over Money, presented by Waymaker. Investing should not be done alone. The problem is a lot of us don't know who to trust when it comes to seeking out investment advice. And whether we like it or not, people are giving us advice every day. Our friends, neighbors, our parents, TV presenters, strangers on Instagram. And with all that noise and the fear around investing, it can be easy to feel like giving up before we've even got started. If that's you, then you're going to love today's quick conversation. I'm joined with Archie Franz from the Waymaker team. G'day, Archie.
G'day, Lachlan. I like how you said it's going to be quick today.
We're trying to keep it quick. Archie is also a qualified financial advisor and has been helping Australians with their finances for over 20 years. So, Archie, the $1 million question for today's conversation is, how do we recognize great investing advice?
Well, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to investing. So we're going to have a few different episodes around investing that'll be coming up. But just for today, we want to leave people with just a few things to think about. And that is, what is great investing advice? Because like you said, people are giving us advice, whether we ask for it or not. It is the typical Australian culture, the typical barbecue culture, where we talk about investing and football and politics and anything else that comes up. So the thing is, we're all apparently property investors or, investment experts. But the research actually shows us that only 5% of people really actually make it over their lifetime. And so that means that stuff's going to happen throughout our lifetime that can really derail us. And then this is why we talk about the importance of having an advisor and having personal advice.
Yeah, so let's help people create that filter to identify what is great investing advice so we can be listening for it and recognizing it. So the first thing we got here is that great investing advice is research-based. Can you explain that for us?
Mate, I love this one. It's not a scheme or a product. That's the first thing we got to take note of here. Advice is advice, so it's not a product and it's not a scheme. So we want to be able to look at the person and put the person first or the family first. And so here we just want to be able to, say to people, look, if you can get the basic blocks in place, you can actually have a great financial future and really enjoy your life. Yes, stuff's still going to happen. That's a given. Nothing's set in concrete, but, you can get those basics in place, get the building blocks there, and good things can happen. And that needs to be based on research because, there's plenty of businesses that'll create products and sell you a product. But research is what makes investing replicable, gives it integrity, that we know what we're going to get. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
We actually know what we're going to get. So we're not buying a product that could give us different results. We're actually doing something that we can actually get the results from.
I like that. What are some examples of schemes that you've seen?
Yeah, schemes and products. So we've got things like, share trading platforms. And the share trading platform is really a scheme. It says, we're going to teach you how to trade shares. So that's not research. That's not advice. It's just a scheme. If you come in and use our product, which is the share trading platform, we're going to show you how you can trade shares. You may not make any money out of it whatsoever, but they definitely will because you're paying for their platform.
Yep.
And that's what they're after. When it comes to products, there'll be financial products that are sold to us and saying, if you invest in this, then after so many years, you're going to get this back. Could be something like that. Could be the product itself, or there's things like trading cryptocurrency or trading currencies. So there's lots of different schemes around those as well.
Yeah, good to watch out for.
Yeah, I think when we're talking like a product that can be complex and hard to know what you're going to get, could be something like an ETF, because that's a product that has layers. And so you don't always know what you're going to get with that product. They've become extremely popular, but it is a product. And, they're very cheap and easy to buy. But again, it's a product, it's not advice.
So the second one is great investing is clear. What do we mean by that?
So when we've got an advisor working with us personally, that advisor is able to help us to put in place something that can be manageable and something that's going to work for us. Too often we're the problem, so we get in there and we think, I want to do this investing, but we don't know what we're talking about and we don't know what to do. And if we start doing something, we can create this big complex mess. I'll give you a quick example. Years ago, I set up a solar system on a house, and I went out and I looked at other people's solar systems, and they were a nightmare. They had done everything themselves, and there was just wires and stuff running everywhere, and that was so complex and messy. And then I went and saw an expert, and the expert gave me a system and said, this system will do what you need it to do. I took that system home, put it in place, and it was the perfect system because I had an expert help me to put what I needed in place. That's the best way to describe it. When it comes to, investing in finances. Yeah. You can do it yourself, create a mess, or you can get some help and make it clear and easy to understand and manageable.
I like that. And things are getting more complex around the options as well, what we can actually invest in.
Yep. Well, there's property. You can buy into property as well as an investment. And, the thing with property is it's not clear and it's not easy. And that's where we can do stuff on our own and we'll find ourselves with something that really didn't work and made our life a misery. Or we can go get some expert advice and some expert help with property, and we can do it really well. So we have a choice.
Yeah. Shout out to Bryce and Ben from the Property Couch podcast. We love those guys, what they're doing with property, making it clear and simple. So the third thing is great investing advice is personal. We all need personal help. Can you unpack that?
There's lots of books about finance out there. Podcasts. There's all sorts of stuff out there that we can look at and can get us thinking about things and that. But there's a difference between a book and a personal relationship. So, a book is not personal. It's just describing information. It's describing, situations to us. But there's no support coming back to us personally saying, right, you need to get your butt into gear. You need to get this happening now. And this is what you need to do. Again, it's too easy for us to just overcomplicate it, in our own mind, in our own thinking, and not do anything. And I come across people who've read all the books and, for 30 years, but nothing's been done.
Wow.
And so they've lost 30 years of investing because they've just kept reading the books, following the podcasts, but not actually doing anything because they felt it was too complex or too difficult.
Yeah, wow. Like the example of a personal trainer. They actually show up at your house and tell you, come on, put your boots on. I think that's why we avoid personal advice sometimes. We have that avoidance towards it because it's going to be challenging. It's not here to generalize. When you put the book down, the book doesn't go, hey, what are you doing? We can hide behind books and podcasts and as a way of not taking action. So yeah, that's so powerful. Yeah, I love that.
I think that's a good point. Like, I don't have a personal trainer because I don't want to be challenged that way. But it is challenging. To have a look at getting personal advice. It's going to challenge the way you think. It's going to challenge you to actually do something rather than sit back and do nothing. And, that's why I don't see a personal trainer because I'd rather sit back and do nothing.
You've got a big garden you're looking after though. So
yeah, that helps.
Keeps you active. All right, if you're enjoying today's conversation, please subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast. And if you can, leave us a review. You can also email us your questions for our upcoming Q&A episodes. Our email is in the show notes. Okay, the last point of what great investing is it's patient. What do you mean by patient?
Well, we've got two choices. either we do all the work and the heavy lifting, or we can start to take small amounts of money and set it aside and let it do the heavy lifting. And so if we're going to use small amounts of money, we've got to have time on our side to allow that money to grow and to, prosper. And that's what investing is all about. Investing is not about you doing the work. It's about letting the investment do the work for you. So that's what I mean there. There's no shortcut to success. If we're chasing something quickly, we're going to be left disappointed. If we're looking to make $1 million in 5 years, guess what? There's a good chance you're going to be disappointed. But if we want to make $1 million over 30 years, that's completely doable. Even 4 million over 30 years is completely doable. So patience makes us a winner. Impatience makes us a loser. We're guaranteed to lose and be disappointed.
So go steady. Instead of pushing a lot of money in at the last minute and risking more, we're starting steady and allowing that money to grow with compounding returns and just keep those contributions to a minimum.
Yeah. The more time we have, the less money we have to put in and the less risk we take. Time and being patient is our best friend when it comes to investing.
And that's something that holds people back from investing because we think that it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort, but it doesn't have to. When you have great advice, you can remove those barriers.
Yeah, absolutely. We can show you where money invested over a 25-year period. In the first 5 years, it hardly changed. So the $10,000 that was put in the first 5 years hadn't really changed much. But over 25 years, that $10,000 turned into over $300,000. But the initial start didn't look great. And that's how often it is with investing, is the initial start doesn't look like much is happening, but you've actually planted the seed and now you just got to let it grow.
It's all about getting started. Got to get started today.
Yeah.
So to summarize, great investing is research-based, it's clear, it's personal, and it's patient. So what's today's actionable step, Archie?
Well, the time for great advice is now. And everyone needs great advice because pretty much, when we look at all our age groups right up to, into our retirement age, we've all potentially got 20 to 30 years in front of us. And so we've all got time for that investment to work and provide us with income to live on and, provide us with great cash flow and provide us with financial freedom. So, it doesn't matter what your age, investing is for everyone.
And great investing makes everyone smile.
It does.
I love that. Well, if you're listening and you want to get some great advice around investing, then head to waymakerpodcast.com.au and click Get Financial Help. We'll connect you with a trusted advisor and you can have a conversation. Thanks, Archie. This is a great conversation and we'll talk more about investing in the next episode. We'll see you next week.
Beautiful. Thanks, Lachlan. Really love doing this.